Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Today marks the 30th anniversary of Sammy Kershaw's country music hit, She Don't Know She's Beautiful. I spoke to Kershaw in 2015 when he performed at the Great Frederick Fair in Frederick, Maryland. Hi, I'm WTOP Entertainment Editor Jason Fraley, and I'm here with Sammy Kershaw, country star. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Where are you joining us from?
Well, I just flew into Lafayette, Louisiana last night. It's where my house is at. And from Nashville, I was supposed to be in Salt Lake City this weekend, but I got sick last Thursday night and wasn't able to make that show. But got into the doctor's office right quick and got a couple of shots. And, man, I'm feeling 100%.
Man, you're doing okay though, right? You're doing all right?
Oh yeah. I'm fine now, man. I just had a bad sinus infection, I guess, and I'm fine now, man. I tell you, I'm awesome.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Kershaw will be coming to the Great Frederick Fair with Joe Diffie and Aaron Tippin as part of the Roots and Boots tour. How's it been touring with these guys? I mean, that's got to be a nice little trio there to tour the country with.
Oh, it's a blast, man. I tell you, about 4 years ago, some of us guys in the 90s went through a rough time there for a while where we didn't have very many shows anymore, the music changing at radio and all that stuff. And we went through some lean times. And I was just trying to think of some ways that to kind of get us more shows, and besides our band shows. And one morning I woke up and thinking about it, and I said, well, what if I just find a couple of other guys who had a bunch of big hit records in the 90s, and we'll go out and do a little acoustic tour in the fall and winter when things are really bad and down. And, of course, I thought of Joe and Aaron and called those guys, and they were all for it. And man, I'll tell you, it's turned into a really, really big deal, and we get a lot of people that come to the show, thousands of people. And the interesting thing about it was people told me in Nashville, some of the business folks in the record business, said, man, there's no way that'll ever work. Three guys sitting on stools, unplugged, and holding, 5, 6, 7,000, 10,000 people for 90 minutes. I said, you hide and watch.
Right.
And what they were not understanding, and they were business people, the music business people, they run the business, but they didn't understand what they wasn't filtering in was that, myself and Aaron and Joe, we've had about 100 hit records.
Oh, people love your stuff.
So we're able to go out and sit on those stools, and Aaron sings one, and I sing one, and Joe sings one, and then Aaron, then me, then Joe, and that goes on for 2 hours, 2.5 sometimes. And that's what they didn't, they wasn't filtering in. We just bust them in the mouth with a song, and as soon as Aaron's finished, I'll bust them in the mouth with a song, and then Joe does, and it just keeps going. We get to do the top 6 or 7 songs each one of us had, of our 100 hits. So, man, it works good, and the people love it. We get to tell stories behind the songs, and we get to tell a few jokes. And I'm telling you, people will not be disappointed.
You said, you each bust them in the mouth, quote, with about 6 or so of each of your hits. Do you find people in the audience are saying, oh, wow, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Like, are they almost surprised that they remember so many?
No, I think what it is they have forgotten how many. I don't think they're surprised. I just think,
right.
But the thing about it is, the whole audience is singing every word to every one of our songs.
They know them by heart.
They know the songs. They just they don't hear them on radio much anymore. We don't get played much on radio anymore, and that's okay. I understand that things change, and I always say you can't knock success. And those boys and girls that are on radio now, they're having a lot of success with what they're doing. But it's not for me. I'm a country singer, and I'm gonna die a country singer. So
exactly.
There you go.
Now, do you remember? I mean, you mentioned that there was, you guys had a lot. There's a bunch of you guys that had a ton of hits in the '90s, and then you said that you said it went through a little bit of a rough patch until, and now you've kind of brought it back. But why do you think? Do you think country music just changed? Did it go more towards sort of a country rock sound, like a Florida Georgia Line type sound, or why do you think changed?
Well, it's not even rock. I don't even call it rock. Mm-hmm. Because, I love Southern rock, Leonard Skinner, Doobie Brothers, Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
And that stuff that they're doing today is, I hear some people calling it Southern rock. Man, it's nowhere near Southern rock, and some people are calling it country, and it's nowhere near country. It's neither one of those. And I'm not being ugly, man. I'm just saying that
it's a new form.
It's a totally different type of music. Mm-hmm. It is. It's not country and it's not Southern rock. People who love country music and know country music, and people who know Southern rock music, they know good and well that that's not what this new stuff is, and that's why I think we're starting to see, us guys from the late '80s and '90s. Mm-hmm. I think that's why we're starting to get a lot more work.
Right.
Because, listen, man, here's the thing. I believe that what record labels do, it's all in the presentation, anyway.
Sure.
Well, in today's country music, you'll hear platinum recording artists, such and such,
Right.
But what they're not telling people is that they sold 1 million singles.
Right.
1 million singles.
Right.
But in the '90s, when they talked about platinum artists, we were selling 1 million albums.
Right.
Which that's 11 million singles.
Right. Exactly.
Not 1 million singles. So I think it's a bit of almost false advertisement, if you ask me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, we were selling albums, man. We wasn't selling just singles, and but of course the internet's kind of changed that a whole lot, and where people can download just one song off of an album instead of the whole song.
Right.
I can remember in the '90s, we had music where it got the people out of their chair at home and got them into Walmart or wherever to buy that album, that CD.
Yeah.
And there's not much of that going on anymore today. I don't know. There's not very many. There's probably a handful of artists now that sell an actual CD.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Didn't you open early in your career? Did you open for like Merle Haggard, George Jones, some of those really throwback?
Oh yeah, man. I started playing in honky tonks and nightclubs and barrooms and beer joints when I was 12 years old down here in Southwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the lucky guys in country music because by the time I was 14. I got to play music with people like George Jones and Merle Haggard and Conway and Loretta and Tammy Wynette and Ray Price, all the greats of country music, and became friends with a lot of those folks, especially Jones, Mm-hmm. George and I were friends for 43 years, and I love George, and I miss him every day still. It's hard to believe that it's been a little over 2 years that he's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones in country music.
So that's where your real love for the old way of country, sort of the country roots. I'm sure that's where a lot of that comes from, and how you try to shape your sound. Do you think playing with them early in your career that kind of helped shape your sound?
Oh, well, certainly it did. But being, I got to tell you, in Southwest Louisiana, well, in Louisiana in general, but mainly down in Southwest Louisiana, we have a whole lot of good, great country music here. We have Southern fried rock and roll here. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of blues. We have jazz. We have Cajun music, Zydeco music, Zydeco Cajun music. We have another type of music called swamp pop. We have all kinds of stuff right here in this little area of Louisiana called Acadiana. Mm-hmm. And just kind of put all those types of music together, and I think that's kind of where the soulful country stuff of mine comes from.
Absolutely. You said that there was a time back in the 90s, and a lot of this is really technology, like you said, because of the internet makes it able for people to just go a single at a time as opposed to an album. But your albums had, like you said earlier, your albums had a ton of hit songs on them too. I feel like even if let's say those came out today, I feel like people will be downloading some of your singles now. I think you had quite a run, and it's nice to see that you're still going.
Well, I still record.
Yeah.
I still put out new albums. I put a new album out in June. It's called I Won't Back Down. And I have a new single out right now called Grillin' and Chillin'.
Nice.
We're fixing to shoot a video for it. And like I said, a lot of radio won't play us guys anymore. But you have to stay relevant in the business.
Yeah.
And that's why I continue to record. Mm-hmm. I have new stuff. I put new stuff out every year. But a lot of people don't know that because we don't get played. But that's okay.
Right.
Tomorrow morning, radio all across the country may wake up and say, hey, you know what? We're going to start playing country music today.
Right.
Well, you know what? I'm ready. I got a lot of new music just sitting there ready to go, man. You pick which one you like the best and play the hell out of it.
Well, it's awesome because I love that you're touring with Aaron and Joe Diffie. I'm pretty sure didn't one of the new guys, I think it was Jason Aldean, did a whole sort of had a song tributing Joe Diffie. So I think there's an appetite, I think, for those classic tunes.
People miss country music, man. I'm telling you, and they're really, and the longer it goes, the more they miss it. And then when that starts happening, then the people kind of start saying, you know what, we're just not going to listen to this crap anymore. And then they start losing listeners, see. And it always comes back to the roots of country music, man. I've been in it for 45, going on 46 years soon. I've been doing this, and I've seen country music cycle a few times, but I can tell you this, it always cycles back to the roots of country music sooner or later.
Roots and boots, baby. Before we go, do you mind going through some of the songs? Maybe I can throw some of them out in rapid fire, and you can tell me what you remember about when you guys wrote and recorded those songs?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. When you really burst on Cadillac Style, take me back to, you remember when that first took fire?
Yeah, I hated the song the first time I heard it. That was on my first album.
Yeah.
I had been wanting a record deal for years. I tried for 21 years. So I tell people I'm a 21-year overnight success. But I was here in Lafayette when, and my producer was in Nashville. So I was waiting to record the first album. So this was back when we still used cassette tapes.
Right.
The internet wasn't as big as it is now. And they would mail songs to me in the mail here to Louisiana here.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first song that my producer sent to me from Nashville. I saw the postman put the cassette tape box in the mailbox. Man, I was outside and I was excited. Went in the house, I put it in, got halfway through, and I shut it off. Man, I hated it. It was terrible. And I called him up. I said, "You can't send me songs like this. It's just not me." He said, "Look," when you come to Nashville to record the first album, we'll go ahead and cut it. If it works, good. If it don't work, we'll just move on to the next song." I said, "You got a deal." And then, of course, I went to Nashville, and we cut it, and we were listening back in the control room, and I said, "Yeah, man, that is me." And, of course, that's the song that started my whole career off in 91.
Isn't that funny? So you never really know sometimes.
No.
And then I know your next album, Haunted Heart, really, that's when I think you just really skyrocketed. In my opinion, She Don't Know She's Beautiful is, you could say that might be the career one, right? That's one. I still hear that cycled on the radio every now and then on the weekends and stuff.
Well, ever since I put that out, I guess that was 93 maybe.
Yep.
She Don't Know She's Beautiful, every year since 93, it has been in the top 100 songs played year after year.
Wow.
Since 93. So that's a long time. I wish I'd have wrote it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's very telling stat right there. I mean, that means it's still getting played as sort of a gold standard of country. Does that
exactly?
Does that blow your mind? That I mean, you grew up with guys like George Jones. He stopped loving her today, and you mentioned Merle Haggard. Okie from Muskogee gets circulated in there every now and then. But what's it like to have a song like that where you're part of that pantheon of country history?
Man, it's awesome because and it still tells you, with a song like that, you'll always be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
That song will always be played at country radio at some time, even after you're gone. Those are the kind of songs that keep you around for years, even after you're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's, I'm just lucky, man. God was good to me. He gave me quite a few songs like that, and Queen of My Double Wide Trailer, and Cadillac Style, and She Don't Know She's Beautiful, even Third Rate Romance.
I love Third Rate Romance. I love that song.
Yeah, so I was lucky, man. That's going to keep me around for a long time. I can work till the day I die.
Yeah, and we appreciate that your next stop is here in Frederick, because I'm telling you, if you'll know the words to all the songs, even if you don't think you will, I guarantee you will. With these three gentlemen, it's going to be great. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time. Is there anything else you want to say about the show on Thursday?
No, man, just be prepared to have a good time, and because we're going to have fun on stage. If the folks don't have any fun, it'll be their own fault.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.